Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Timothy here with Mana Rocks, continuing by force for Throne of Eldraine. We are going to try our hand at a Knight deck this time around. I do not have high hopes for this. I do not think Arena is a place where aggro decks can thrive due to the just abundance of the blue-black control and things of that nature. But we're going to try it out, and that's the whole point of by force, is to, try out things we otherwise normally wouldn't, and see if it works, right? So, Knights, one of the hallmark themes of Throne of Eldraine, across 3 colors, right? Sure, there are Knights in all 5 colors, but you're mainly looking at the Mardu colors, white, black, and red, and you can build a Knight deck in basically any combination of those colors. I have seen some people try to do 3 color as well, but there's not a lot of ways to fix your mana. There's the Tournament Grounds land, and then there's golden eggs and things of that nature. But there's not a lot of reliable ways to make a 3-color deck really tick. So we're going to have to kind of find a lane and pick it. I'm assuming black is probably the best color due to the removal spells you get access to. Red also has good removal, and white to me seems like possibly the worst since your removal suite is a little bit lackluster. If you have not joined us for By Force before, basically that's how it's going to go. It doesn't matter what we open, we're going to try and stick to a lane, and we're going to see if aggro works this time. So check out the rest of the series. We've done the 7 Dwarves video, we've done the Mill video to varying success, and we're going to try out Knights today. So thanks for joining me. Before we get started here and I waste my gems on this draft, I would like to remind you, you can subscribe below to support the channel. That's always awesome. Leave a comment if you feel like you would have drafted differently, if you want to see a specific type of theme for By Force, or if you have any other ideas for the channel, always open to it. And you can find us on Twitter at MTG_ManaRocks. Alright, what do you say we jump in and hope to open, I guess, a rare Knight? There aren't too many busted Knights, right? Which is one of the reasons I don't think Knight decks really come together too often. You know it's not a good Knight? Vantress Gargoyle. And you know why? Because it's not a Knight. So, what do we have to start out with? Well, the only Knights in the pack are Raging Redcap, which is okay, it's kind of a middle-of-the-ground creature, but if you're playing an aggro deck, you're kind of happy to have these. It plays really well with pump spells. The other one is Garenbrig Paladin, but since we're forcing a Knight deck, I don't think we're supposed to go into green. There are a couple Knights like this one and the 3/1 Elf Knight that can sack food to make it block, or be blocked or whatever. I forget the card's name. Marrowleaf something. Rider, probably. But there's also a Reeve Soul, and we did say black is probably one of the best colors. Your payoffs in black are basically things like Barrows Witches and Recursion on top of Smitten Swordmaster being kind of a way to circumvent things. I do like Reeve Soul here. If we were drafting for real, I'd probably just take Vantress Paladin because it's a powerful card. That or Edgewall Innkeeper is a good one to start with. So we're actually going to pass up on a Knight and take a powerful removal spell. Again, our Knight deck doesn't mean necessarily that we have to take every single Knight we see. We just have to kind of push in the direction of Knights. And I think starting off with the removal is fine, even if it means we get mediocre creatures later on. It's worth mentioning Joust here. This is just pretty bad removal. Every time I try to make this card work, it's basically Prey Upon, for one, and not a very good Prey Upon either, given that a lot of Red's creatures tend to be really small. Joust is okay in, I think, like red-green, where you have the big creatures, like your 4/4s and 5/5s to kind of back it up. And a lot of times in red, you don't even have, like, Knights to target. Like, look at these red creatures. They're not Knights. Joust is pretty poor with those. So I'm not a big fan of this. I am actually going to take Bacon to a Pie and hopefully wheel Trebuchet. Although if I am an aggro deck, I wouldn't mind the 7 Dwarfs coming around. If you get 3+ of this card, it's actually pretty good. But we're going to start with some pretty solid removal. Another Reeve Soul could take Clockwork Servant, which is pretty good if we end up monocolor. Not very likely that we're going to do so. The only Knight here being Knight of the Keep, and I would like to avoid white as long as possible. So let's just stock up on removal. Here we go. Here's probably going to be our first Knight. Surkara the Bold is just a powerful card. I've never really seen anyone go off with this card, but then again, I've never really seen this card resolve and do too much. I think we had this in our 7 Dwarves video, if I remember correctly, and it was like okay there, but we didn't really get to see it in action too much. There's also Raging Redcap. Ginger Brute is playable. If we were in green already, Outmuscle's pretty good, but I think we're fairly solid in black right now, and then red is the color I'm looking to pair up. Red looks reasonably open. No black in this pack, which is not a great sign. There's also Redcap Raiders. Good aggressive card, very similar to Rage and Redcap. I think this one, I don't know, if you have a bunch of pump spells and ways to augment creatures, I actually like the Redcap more. But in general, if you don't, I think Redcap Raiders is better. It's just a shame this card isn't a knight, because I always think it is. But Surkar is a nice one to pick up here. What do we have to follow up with? Okay, well, there's some red in the pack. I'm going to pass up on one of my favorite cards and one of my least favorite cards to be targeted by, Covetous Urge. Occam Ranger, I still like this card despite limited resources saying that it's not very good. I think they're getting bogged down by the fact that the adventure is overcosted and you don't even have to cast this card for the adventure. I think a lot of times you'd actually be better served on ignoring the adventure and just playing it, and it does have a significant impact on the board from my experience. We're going to go with one of the red cards because we're not branching into white right now with our picks. And Rimrock Knight is a knight, whereas Trebuchet is a knight payoff. I have not been impressed with the 3/1s. Just one thing to keep in mind here is that this is Arena. This is not Moto. This is not Paper. We are going to run into the stupid mill deck over and over again. Or if we run into other aggro decks, Rimrock Knight actually loses a lot of its value. So I think I'm going to take the Trebuchet because this is a way to kind of combat the decks that are looking to just block forever and bounce your creatures. And I do like it a little bit more than Rimrock Knight, although I will admit passing up on all these knights is a little bit contradictory to what we're doing. Here we have Crash and Drawbridge, a serviceable card, but not great. Weapon Rack, I think, is probably a little bit worse than the Drawbridge. And then we have Cauldron's Gift, which is a card that I tend to like, but not usually make the cut in, especially since it mills you a decent amount of the time, and I don't really want to be doing that on Arena. So I do think I'm going to take the black card here. I don't know if that signals to the bots and they pick up on that sort of thing, but I don't think Weapon Rack's very good, and I don't think the other picks are really serviceable. Fling is another card that I like if you end up in red, green specifically, because flinging your green creatures at your opponent can finish them off after a particularly aggressive start. Festive Funeral looks a lot worse when we've already picked up some of the black premium removal. We don't really need the dorky black removal here. And then Bloodhaze Wolverine is just a 2-drop, and a pretty bad one at that. We don't really have ways to draw cards at all. So I'm wondering what I'm supposed to take here. One consideration is that Fling does trigger Surkara, but I'm not sure how useful that is. I think I'm going to grab the Fling. I just don't think... Well, no, I'm an aggro deck. I need 2-drops. Let's just take the Wolverine. Let's be responsible. All right, here's our first actual, like, knight pick. Look at this 8th pick, Merfolk Secret Keeper. Is it Lost Legion or is it Ogre Errant? The Errant is a more powerful card, just straight up face value. This is a decent card and I've been pretty happy with it. Lost Legion is a card that smooths your draws but doesn't have as big of an impact on the board. I think I am going to take Ogre Errant. I find that card to be good. Barge In is a card that I would be happy to play, especially if I pick up more red caps, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the red cap here. And we wield a 7 dwarves. There was another card in this pack we were considering, but I don't remember what it is. Pinocchio Nope is here, just being a really crappy uncommon to make your sealed pulls worse. 7 dwarves it is. I want 3 of these before I really consider it, although if I'm thinking about playing a Bloodhaze Wolverine, I'm probably just going to play a 2/2 over it. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and, I guess we'll consider everything for now. It's probably Ginger Buddy here. Ginger Brute is playable. Some people have gone on to say that this is a good card, and I don't think it is, but it is a playable card, so I think it's probably better than the Henge Walker, which has the potential to be a 3-mana 2/2. It's pretty bad. We're pretty solid red-black here. I never draw my Ginger Brutes on turn 1, though. Ooh, an uncommon last pick. Hey-oh, you're not a knight, are you? You're a friggin' noble. Alright, oh, fun experiment here. Go on Gatherer and look up nobles. A lot of them have been eroded, and some of them are kind of surprising. Did you know King Makar, the Gold Cursed, is a noble now? Because I didn't. Anyway, this is easy Torbran. Torbran is actually a reason to even try and go into mono red if possible. I kind of like Embereth Paladin more than most people just because I die to it a lot. And maybe that's because I'm playing poorly or something, but I think this card's a little bit better than people give it credit for. It just comes down and smashes you if you don't have any way to deal with it. Torbran's easily the pick here, though, but that does give us triple red, double black, so something to consider there. We can ditch that Cauldron for now. In particular, Torbran is kind of busted with the Trebuchet and Surkara, so something worth mentioning. We have that Fling. We did not take the Fling, did we? All right, Torbran's going to get in the deck, though. Following that up, we have, again, a similar pick of Knight and Knight. I do think I'm going to take Red Cap Melee here. It's a powerful removal spell, even if you have to sacrifice a land. Like, imagine this card didn't say anything about red creatures, and it just said 1 mana, sacrifice a land, deal 4 damage to any creature or planeswalker. That would be a playable card, and I think people would pick up on that being playable. But somehow people see that thing about not having a red creature, and they think it's worse than that. And I don't think it is. I'm going to wheel 1, 2, 3, 4. One of those 4 cards, which I'll consider playing. A Joustin' Dummy would actually probably be better than a Bloodhaze Wolverine. But Red Cap Melee is just so efficient removal that I'm going to take it here. Here's our crack at a Rimrock Knight if we want it. The 3rd Reeve Soul is tempting, but not necessary here. And I do want to pick up some pump spells for this Rage and Red Cap. Ideally, I'd like to just pick up a bunch of Brimstone Trebuchets or get past like a Black Lance Paragon, but I'm not a huge fan of Lockthwain Paladin, so I think it's going to be Rimrock Knight, despite Reeve Soul being a better card. Here we have Cauldron Kitty Cat. This is not the deck for a card like this. You really need to be hard in Food Synergy before this even becomes like playable. People seem to think you can just throw this in any black deck, and you certainly can. You're allowed to do that, but it's not good when you do it. Probably a pick for Hengewalker. I mean, again, there is a small world where we might pick up like a Scorching Dragonfire and a Searing Barrage, and then we go mono red here, and then Hengewalker's perfectly fine. We do have Torbran, which pushes us more towards 1 in red cards. Embereth Shieldbreaker, I'm actually very happy to pick up. This is a card that, in general, is just very, very good. There's almost always an artifact in each game that you can snipe, even if it's just a gold, not a gold token, but a food token. And then being a knight is relevant as well here. So, easy Shieldbreaker, nothing else really in contention here. My deck doesn't want a Tempting Witch, and I would consider a Memory Theft, but it's not something we have to play. Well, there's a Lock Dragon. There's also 7 Dwarves number 2. Okay. Well, if I knew for a fact I was going mono red, Lock Dragon would be my pick, because I do think Lock Dragon's pretty good. It gives you an evasive threat, which these red decks tend not to have. But 7 Dwarf number 2 means that if I pick up like 1 more dwarf, we've actually gotten out to have just a pretty aggressive suite of 2-drops. Something else worth considering here is Blow Your House Down, which I'm not going to take over either of these cards, but Blow Your House Down is a lot better than people give it credit for if you're just trying to jam with a bunch of creatures. If you're playing like a mid-range late-game deck, then this card sucks, right? But if you are playing the style of deck that just wants 2-drops, 3-drops, and then like curves out at 4, Blow Your House Down is fine. I don't yet think that we're going straight mono red, so I'm actually gonna take the lesser of the 2 cards here. Is that right? God, Lock Dragon's so good. I love this card. It helps you not flood out. No, I'm gonna take the 2-drop here. That pick I'm not 100% sure about. This pick's a little bit more interesting. Bargain, again, is a card that I would be interested in having in my deck. I'm gonna not take Lost Legion over just a perfectly serviceable 3-drop here. I think the only Knight Synergy card we have right now is a Trebuchet, which now that I have Torbran, I'd pick up literally every Trebuchet I see. Yeah, I'm going to go and take the creature here over the Bargain. Oh, there's a Golden Egg. That's not the worst. There's also a Forever Young, which is a card that I like to have on Arena. Do I need a Golden Egg for any reason? I don't have Artifact Synergies. I think I'm actually going to take Forever Young. That seems right. Alright, here's our pick. We finally get this Bargain here. It's better than the Wolverines that I'm probably not trying to play anyway. Already, as it is, I have 4 2-drops that I'm interested in. I would play 2 7 Dwarves, even though I think 3 is the spot where it really gets good. And Thrill of Possibility is something to consider, but it usually doesn't make the cut if I end up with 23 good playables. So I'm going to grab the Bargain here. And I guess the Memory Theft's the only card I'm even considering playing. And then some stuff that we're not going to play at all. These blue cards wheeling is kind of crazy. Giant Skewer really sucks. It's just way too mana intensive, and there are good, efficient answers in this format. Plus, this doesn't even make food if you hit the opponent, which I think is kind of weird. It's on flavor, obviously. In order to skewer the creature, you have to hit the creature, but this flavor really kind of takes precedence over the power of the card, and it loses a lot there. So I'm just going to take an uncommon that we're not considering playing here. Same deal. I'm not going to play 2 Memory Theft, so we'll grab an uncommon, and I will consider this Blow Your House Down. What do we have going into the final pack? Well, I see basically nothing except probably the best uncommon in the entire set. It's a Knight. it's a Conrad, it's a Blood Artist, it has a lot of text, and it causes people to call the judge quite a bit. Sorcerer's Spyglass, god, why did this have to be in the set? Like, again, just a card here to kind of mess up your sealed pools. Sideboard card, maybe, not a good one. Redcap Raiders, I'd be perfectly fine playing that, but Sir Conrad's just too good, and I already have a Forever Young, so it does not look like red-black, or it doesn't look like mono red's in consideration anymore. I have just really good black, right? All right, another tough pick here. We've got Scorching Dragonfire as just a solid removal spell. I think this card's very good. Granted, we already have some Reef Souls, we have a Bacon Tuapai, we have a Redcap Melee, so we're looking good on removal. We don't need to like necessarily prioritize it or die. There's also Oathsworn Knight, which is a rare knight, and I think this card's pretty good if you're the beat down, so I think I'm going to take this. We said we were forcing knight, so we might as well take the rare knight, right? Again, it's not a payoff or anything, but I do think it's a powerful card. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that could wheel. Unfortunately, there are no other red cards in the pack, so there's no chance the Dragonfire is wheeling, but I would play a Barrow Witches at the top of my curve, and I wouldn't even mind a Lost Legion. We're going to go ahead and take the strongest card in the pack, though. Following that up with another Redcap Melee, Merchant of the Veil, or Elite Headhunter. People wrath on this card, and it's not amazing, but I think they're comparing it too much to the rest of the hybrid cycle and not really considering it as a standalone card. I do think as a standalone card, this card is just fine. Again, not super powerful, maybe on, par with just like a Raging Redcap or something, right? It also doesn't hit players, which is kind of annoying, but it is a little bit of a combo with Torbran. Also turns like random food and stuff into actual removal spells. So I think I'm going to take this and try it out. It's not a card I have a lot of experience with, but every time an opponent plays it against me, I think it's pretty relevant. Worth considering Dwarven Mine too if we were mono red. This card gets a lot better in mono red. But yeah, we're the Knight deck. Why not take Elite Headhunter? That seems fine. There's Sir Alan, if you will. We're not quite on that plan. I'm going to go ahead and take Merchant of the Veil, even though I think Reaper of Night is a little bit better. Merchant of the Veil helps you just kind of make sure you're hitting your mana, especially in a deck like this that has a lot of mana-intensive cards. I like having access to some sort of filter, and I think the card that can become a creature is better than just the one-shot effect of Thrill of Possibility here. So we'll go and take a Merchant. Nothing for us here, right? We're not playing Eye Collector. We're not that all-in aggressive. We're not playing Bloodhaze Wolverine. We've got 6, 7, 8 more, or 3 more picks potentially at getting another 7 Dwarf, which I'd be very happy with. And Signpost Scarecrow's just not going to cut it. So I guess Festive Funeral is going to be my pick there, followed by... Do we take a Fling now? Might take a Fling. Might not play a Fling, but we take it. I mean, there's Golden Egg. Again, Golden Egg does help with the mana-intensive stuff. It's just in a 2-color deck, it doesn't really get you anywhere. It's just kind of like twiddling your thumbs a little bit. I think Fling's probably a little bit better, although we're already at the point where we're kind of trimming cards. I don't think we're going to play Memory Theft. I like that a little bit more when we're not going as aggro. We're definitely more mid-rangey than full-on aggro, though. I don't think we need a Golden Egg here. I'm going to grab a Fling, even though I might not main deck it. Jeez, lots of Golden Eggs. Joustin' Dummy or Raging Redcap. That would be 3 Raging Redcaps. We have 1, 2. Really only the 2 pump spells, though. And the card is not exactly amazing without pump spells. Maybe do I want a Joustin' Dummy? Joustin' Dummy is a lot better when you have a ton of night payoffs, and we just don't. It is an artifact, but it's already a creature anyway, so that doesn't really make it better for the Elite Headhunter or anything. I'm going to snag a Golden Egg. Smooths out the mana a little bit. This is pick 8, so we're not getting anything new here. I think I'm just going to take a 2-drop Joustin' Dummy over something like a Tempting Witch, or basically a card I'm not going to play, like Crystal Slipper or any of these. I guess Weapon Rack's a little bit better when you have Raging Redcaps, but the problem with that is that we've already got tons of 4-drops, and all of our 4-drops are pretty good. Weapon Rack I don't think is better than any of those, so let's snag the Joustin' Dummy here. We wheel a Lost Legion, we wheel a Reaper of Night, we wheel Merchant of the Veil, sure. I don't think Dwarven Mine's gonna cut it. I don't think second Merchant is necessary. Uncommon for the Vault, common for the Vault, and the poor little turtle. Alright, let's go ahead and scrap this deck together. Again, we're not really a Knight payoff deck, right? We have Knights. Sure. Our only knight payoff, though, is Brimstone Trebuchet. We don't have any Smitten Swordmasters, which is actually kind of surprising. But I do think majority of our 2-drops are good, minus the Joustin dummy, right? 2 7 dwarves, sometimes you do draw them together. I kind of want to cut Ginger Brute. I really hate that card. Also not sure if Reaper of Night really fits this deck too well, but we have to make cuts. So let's start with Hengewalker. A little bit off of that when I don't have Artifact Synergies. I don't think I need Golden Egg. It does help the mana problem a little bit, but we definitely don't need it. We have Forever Young. I really want to cut Ginger Brew. I've just never been impressed with this card, and I don't have ways to really augment it, right? I don't have like a Steel Claw Lance or anything like that to kind of make it better than it is, so I think I'm going to cut Ginger Brew. It's fine on turn 1. It's never even like amazing on turn 1, but the problem is sometimes you don't draw it on turn 1. You draw it on like turn 5 or 6, and it has such a negligible effect at that point. And we need to make one more cut here. Probably should cut something in the high end, and I'm thinking Reaper of Night, although Blow Your House Down is also kind of staring me in the face here as a card that, if I'm really far behind, is not something I want to draw. So I think I'm going to go ahead and ditch that and just have a card that I know is usually going to be good, and we'll have to play the kind of Devil's Mana base of 9 and 8 here. Well, actually, the Devil's Mana base is like 6, 6, 5, but the 2-color Devil's Mana base. Anything else, just look through one more time and see if there's anything we really don't want. I could see ditching Lost Legion here. Just another triple black card in our 8 swamp deck is a little bit awkward. And if I wanted to go a little bit more consistent, I could see cutting Reaper of Night for Golden Egg, but I do think Reaper just almost always holds its weight, and I'm happy to have it here, I think. So yeah, not a super impressive deck by any means, but we've got good removal. We've got 4 just solid removal spells. We've got some pretty strong cards in the Oathsworn Knights and the 2 5-drops. Torbran also pretty strong here with things like Rage and Redcap and such. And I guess that's a consideration to maybe consider some other red cards instead of some black cards. And I am going to main deck the Forever Young, basically because we're on Arena. If I was not on Arena, I would probably keep this in the sideboard and then board it in against decks where attrition is important, or if I'm against the mill deck. But I anticipate playing against the mill deck a decent amount of time, so I like having access to one in my main board. That being said, maybe Joustin Dummy's worse than Bloodhaze Wolverine if I have Torbran, but Bloodhaze Wolverine sucks, so we're not going to do that. Let's just keep it as is, and we'll see if we need to make modifications as we go. So that's going to be our deck. We're going to get mana screwed and have some double black cards and have 3 mountains in our hand, but hey, what can you do? I guess you could play a Golden Egg. Golden Egg just really wants me to play it, doesn't it? Oh well, anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it for Bioforce for Knights. We'll see how far we can get. Again, I don't think these aggro decks usually make it too far, but if we can sneak out a 3 and 3 or something like that, I'll be fairly happy. So thanks for joining me again. Let me know in the comments below how you felt about the draft, and I will see you all in round number 1. All right, welcome everybody. We're against Carlson Santana, you know, from the party. We're going to play, and we're going to keep this hand. 2 lands, a 2-drop, and a Reef Soul seems fine. If they play like a Merfolk Secret Keeper, we lose, but whatever. Swamp is our best draw here, but I'll take Mountains as well because it gets us to this Headhunter. And I'll give you the big ol' H back there. Give you the big ol' H. Change my fox to a purple fox. Ooh, Mountain. All right, so we get to play Real Magic. You know what? I don't think I saw a single Weaselback Redcap in this draft. All right, let's go Joustin Dummy and pass here. Get my 2-drop down. Rimrock Knight, a reason I'm not as high on this is because it doesn't grant toughness, right? So this trade is still a trade. I can't use it to, like, save my creature. I just use it to trade up. I don't think I'm going to block here. If they want to pump into it, I'm fine with that. If not, then they probably play a blocker, and then I Reef Soul that blocker and hit them for 2. Maybe I should, because Weaselback Redcap's capable of just putting out more damage. But if I also draw a Mountain, I can go pump plus play this thing. Of course, we're not going to draw a Mountain, so we're just going to Reef Soul and attack for 2. And I need to hit a 3rd land drop basically now, or else I fall too far behind against a green deck. They just have fatties, right? No offense to fatties. Swamp is ideal. Mountain is respectable. We don't have any tap lands in our deck, so any land will get us something. Rosethorn Acolyte. They're going to make a different color of mana here. Okay, they're making green mana. Oh, they probably just clicked the wrong one. All right, perfect, perfect. So we get to play. Question is, what do we want to do? I kind of want to attack, and if they block, I will Rimrock Knight to just trade here, and then play Rimrock Knight. If they don't block, I can just either play Red Cap, or I can get in some extra damage. But I think Rimrock Knight with this thing is good. I am going to offer the trade here, though, because it cuts them off a rampant. I don't think they're going to block. Not into, like, a barge in or anything like that. So let's try to push in some damage if we can. Yeah, they're going to take it here, and I'm going to play my Double Striker. And pass. So they could untap and play like a Garen Brigg Paladin or something, and we're very much in trouble at that point. Lucky Clover. Okay. What's the follow-up? Ooh. Lucky Clover attack. They're going to Garen Brigg Squire and deal 6 to me. Oh, Rimrock Knight. So they're going to deal... Yeah, it's still 6. Sure. Alright, that's a pretty big hit. I wonder if they untap and go, like, double adventure and kill me. So what's my plan here? I could get 6, 7, 8 damage in right now if I go for the Rimrock Knight, or I could just play Elite Headhunter. I can't play Lost Legion, though, which is kind of awkward. Their Rimrock Knight doesn't scare me very much. I think we're going to go for the Headhunter here and just attack for 3. Is there anything I'm missing for green? I mean, I could just die to this Lucky Clover next turn, but whatever. We'll accept our fate. Deal 4 to the opponent here. We're kind of racing anyway, so just getting more bodies on board seems decent. Rimrock Knight can't block that, so it's a little awkward to try and go for that. If I had a swamp instead of a mountain, I would probably just go Rimrock Knight the Double Striker and then play Lost Legion, just to guarantee that extra damage. Nope. Ogre Errant. Okay, so this is the one that can give another Knight Menace when it attacks. This has Menace. Do we just want to get the 2 cards out of their hand? Jam with this thing, and then trade it? Also just attack for 2, potentially? Yeah, let's get the last 2 cards out of their hand. That seems pretty good. And then we might be able to play defense here a little bit. They discarded... Ooh, Blow Your House Down. That's good to know. And they're empty-handed. This Rimrock Knight doesn't change things too much. Am I willing to trade my Red Cap for this Ogre Errant? I guess I could attack with everything. And then just, if they block here, I trade off. If they block here, I trade off and deal 4 to them. But then they attack me back with this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If they draw like a +2/+2 effect, then we actually just die. I think I'm going to go for just the big hit here. And I'm going to Rimrock Knight whichever one they block. Yeah, so we're going to trade here. The thing is, I'm not really down too much advantage, though, because this Rimrock Knight's going to turn into a creature. I do lose my best creature, I suppose, but it's not that bad. We can even next turn go like Rimrock Knight and then sacrifice to the Headhunter. And we're still a swamp off from being able to do too much. Ooh, Red Cap Melee is a good draw. This can't actually block, so holding this back to potentially double block doesn't do too much. I think what I do here is go Rimrock Knight, that way I have the Elite Headmaster up, and then attack with just the Headmaster. Headhunter? Headhunter. Am I calling it the Headmaster? They can't block this, and I'll pass the turn. Pretty good chance their Rimrock Knight's going to attack this turn. And they concede. They must have drawn just 2 blanks in a row. All right. This is the type of matchup I want to play. Just, you know, bouncing creatures into creatures where my decisions will actually matter. I don't want to play against the Merfolk Secret Keeper deck where they just play 2 Secret Keepers and they just run away together over and over again. And they kind of don't have to really play Magic. And you don't have a way to beat them. But we'll run into it. Just wait. We'll run into it. We pick up a win, though, and we're going to keep on trucking. So match 2 coming up. All right, welcome, welcome. How's that for you? The triple red card and the 2 black lands in the deck. We do have Rimrock Knight into Trebuchet, or we can hold off and do the Rimrock Knight later. Can't block again, so not good on the draw. but against another red deck and another swamp. Thanks. All right, let's go ahead and run out some mountains for now and see what the opponent's going to start off with here. A 7 dwarf. That's kind of scary. It means they're going to try and beat down. Bacon to a pie is good. I am going to just play this because I don't have a creature to trade off with anyway. I don't have a way to pump or anything. So our turns are pretty set in stone right now. We're going to go Trebuchet next turn, Bacon to a pie after that. Don't really care about this right now, I don't think. Yeah, and the opponent's correct to attack there because I can't block. So they might as well. Wow, okay, well the 4th swamp is really just laughing at me here. Alright, this is going to attack. If they want to trade for a Shambling Suit, I'm okay with that. Then we'll play a Trebuchet. And let's see if they follow up with anything for this Shambling Suit. I mean, if they curve out on us, that's pretty good. Frosty of the Wild's nice, so they're going to deal some extra damage here. Into Rosethorn Halberd, very nice. So they're going to deal, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? That's disgusting. I can only kill one of them. Alright, that's a good draw, I suppose. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack, because this thing can't block. Wow, this would be a lot better as just a 2-2. So, I mean, pretty straightforward turn here. We're going to go ahead and Bacon to a pie the 7 dwarf. And take 4. Yeah, let's bake this into a pie. They're going to fling in response. Oh, Garenbrig Carver. Okay, sure. Do you have a land in hand? Otherwise, that just gets in a little bit of extra damage, I suppose. I guess I might just be dead next turn. Let's make sure we use our bucket here. Oh, Reef Soul's actually a good draw. Assuming this isn't a pump spell, Reef Soul gives us a little bit of time, and we can also crack our, not treasure, but this thing. The alternative is to play Sir Conrad, because we can't cast Torbran, and hope that, they just don't have anything. But even then, I'm trading Sir Conrad for Shambling Suit. So I think I'm probably better served just going Reef Soul and letting them play another creature next turn, reacting to that. I am still bashing for 3 a turn here. So let's go and Reef Soul and see if they've got a pump. They do not. Pass turn. Torbran would be a good way at hopefully pulling this out. It is worth noting too that this thing doesn't gain trample because it's a human, so the Frosty doesn't affect it. Which is good for us. So end of turn, bucket you. Food us. Nom nom nom. Go up to 6. Alright, Jousting Dummy. Fine draw. Alright, let's go ahead and attack with Remy first. Get in there. Ooh, I like this trade. That gives us plenty of time. I guess I should have played this first in case they did trade. But now we are going to go full control. Play Sir Conrad. The reason we're going full control is so that I can activate this in response. I don't want to just tap it and then play Conrad and then have them like Scorch and Dragonfire or counter this. I mean, they can't counter it, but this is just good play practice, is to let the knight enter the battlefield, put the trigger on the stack, and then activate the Trebuchet instead of tapping it first and then something potentially happens to your Conrad or your knight or whatever, and then it won't end up untapping. Very good against blue decks. Let's see what they can follow up with here. They're going to get back a creature. Once in future, putting 7 dwarf back in their hand. Oh, that wasn't even adamant. So we know they're going to draw this suit next turn. We can mill the stupid thing off the top, too. They might actually just be dead here. I don't think they have the means to stay alive. Because they have to block Sir Conrad. Ooh, this can blow that up. Yeah, I mean, attack with Conrad here. If they don't block, they die because they have a creature on top and have a bucket. And that's going to do it. Let's bucket you. Yeah. I think they were probably better off not putting that on top. Once in future, I don't believe has to target 2. I think it's up to 2. So they could have chose not to put a creature on top there. All right. Looking pretty good against red decks. Kind of scary there at the beginning, right? Opponent had an extremely fast start, very aggressive start. But that is kind of the downside of playing things like the Halberd and the Ferocity of the Wilds is that if you start running out of creatures and your opponent can control the board and stabilize, you're kind of down a bunch of cards that aren't really doing anything. So I think we got to take advantage of that, even though maybe another non-human or something could have really sealed the deal for us there. So 2-0 to start off with, pretty good. Let's go ahead and roll on into match number 3. All right, match number 3, we're against Uthred on the draw. We have a Reeve Soul for something early. We have a 2-drop play. We have a red cap melee, which hope to God I don't have to cast. Yes, red. That's what I like to see when I have a red cap melee. All right, let's go ahead and run out a mountain and pass. Look, if they play a 2-drop here, I'm probably just going to red cap melee at it. Maybe that's false. Reeve Soul can take care of most things. All right, let's go and drop a swamp, and I'll play a 7 dwarf here. I don't really care what happens to it. If they want to kill it with a removal spell, I feel like that's fine. Yep, Dragonfire. Again, I'd rather that hit kind of my 2-drop dorky creature than something a little bit better. Swamp would have been a pretty good draw there. Let's see, what do we do? Just run out a Merchant, or do we play Joust and Dummy and hold up a red cap? I think Merchant's probably fine here. The way this goes bad is if our opponent like kills this end of turn with another Dragonfire and then plays Embereth Paladin or something like that. I think Joust and Dummy might be just reasonable here. I can still block like an Embereth Paladin if they play it. I mean, Mono Red. Well, Embereth Shield Breaker is a way to punish us for having a Joust and Dummy, I suppose. I could Merchant of the Veil and ditch Lost Legion here, but I think if I draw a Swamp, I'd actually be very happy to have the Lost Legion. That turn did not go as planned, so what's the play here? Go Reeve Soul and hold up red cap melee, or do I just bite the bullet and play one of my 3-drops? I think bullet biting might be a good idea. Let's get a raging red cap down. We also don't know if our opponent's just missing a color or not. They didn't do anything on turn 3. I mean, it's looking like mono red. Well, Lock Dragon's good. I do have the melee for that, though, which feels pretty good. I should do it before they get to attack, though. That's a nice draw as well. So what do I do here? If I attack with this, they could trade for Lock Dragon. I'm going to attack. Oh, I guess I could also Reeve Soul this Lock Dragon. If they're mono red, this can kill basically anything they play. I'm expecting no block. And then I can go Merchant of the Veil. Wonder if it's better to just go Merchant of the Veil and red cap melee to get another creature on board than it is to go Reeve Soul. I guess I can go Reeve Soul and then red cap melee. What could they have here for 1 red? Nothing, right? Rimrock. Oh, they could have a Rimrock Knight. Alright, I'm going to go Merchant here, actually. And then before they attack, I'm going to red cap melee this Lock Dragon. This gives them an opportunity to also, like, put some other resource into their Lock Dragon. I don't know what they would, but they could, right? And I want to do this before attacks. That way, if they're stuck with a land in hand, they don't get to loot it away. Most of my draws are pretty good, too. I don't mind more lands, but if I draw some spells that don't matter, I can Merchant. Alright, let's deal 4 to your Lock Dragon. I will not sacrifice a land. And let's see if we regret that and they play, like, I don't know, Rampart Smasher. What can't be blocked by knights? Great. If Embereth Shieldbreaker attacks. Never mind, they didn't attack. Yeah, I like Swamp here. I think I just attack. Again, they could have, like a Rimrock Knight, and then this trades for this. What else could they even have? Just like a removal spell or something? I like just attacking. If they use a Rimrock Knight and trade 2 for 1, that's not that big of a deal. Like, I can lose Merchant of the Veil if it means my opponent's going to go down a trick or something. Looks like that might be happening. Is there some other pump spell I'm missing? They can't barge in. Yeah, it is in fact Rimrock Knight. So we're going to trade Shieldbreaker for Merchant. And then I'm just going to play this Elite Headhunter here. Keep applying creatures to the board. Again, a creature that can't block isn't the best thing in the world when we're ahead on the game here. It can pressure us. We saw that be relevant last game. All right, if they attack, I'm just going to block here. Oh, actually? I could block, or I could sack a creature to deal damage to that thing. I think I'm probably better served blocking it. Elite Headhunter is not like amazing or anything, but I don't really want to take 5. I want to press my advantage here. My opponent's got 1 card in hand. They can't block me. Let's play this and see what we're scrying into. Yes, please. Land to the bottom. Although, that is kind of the type of draw that means you're possibly going to lose. Like, if my opponent just plays like a Prophet of the Peak or some nonsense card, we might be in a little bit of trouble. But I think we can race them just fine with our dorky creatures. This is where Merchant of the Veil would really shine, of course. Just to be able to turn these lands into spells. Or at least thin our deck out of more lands. Opponents on 8 lands. They've seen 9 of their lands this game. No block. And continue pressing the advantage. Continue drawing lands. Oh, what do we scry 2 lands to the bottom and then draw 2 lands? That feels good. Alright, let's attack for 6 here. Ooh, opponent has something in hand. Or not. I'm going to go ahead and play a Swamp and pass. And we can Reef Soul anything small that can get in the way. Our opponent already has to play something, because we have lethal on board. They have to be able to either block or deal with 2 of our creatures here. Burning Yard Trainer, sure. So we're probably going to take 5, but I don't imagine we're getting blocked by Burning Yard Trainer here. Let's see what happens. Or rather, I don't think we're getting attacked by the Burning Yard Trainer. Alright, Barge in, sure. Deal 7. Then their last card really needs to matter here or die, and we're going to Reef Soul this thing. I also think the Rimrock Knight just basically settles it for us. Man, Magic's fun when you just bash creatures into each other. We've, fingers crossed, knock on wood, avoided the mill deck so far and just taken down 3 kind of mirror matches. You know, it's funny. People, limited resources goes on and says that aggro is the way to go in this format, and suddenly you play against a bunch of aggro decks. What do you know? No disrespect to limited resources. I love those guys. But we get to take our 3rd win, which is kind of my over-under already, and we'll see if we can keep moving up the ladder. So, without further ado, match 4 coming up. Alright, welcome back. We're against Quiet. Clearly a fan of ASMR. How do we feel about this hand? Our first play is Trebuchet into potentially one of these 4-drops. I guess it's respectable. Our opponent's Diamond Tier, so I assume they're going to start off with an island. Oh my god, a Plains. Alright. Drawing a 2-drop here would be awesome just to kind of get the curve going. Against white. I don't mind black either. I could cycle this Forever Young, but you never know, it might be relevant here. So I guess playing Trebuchet first gives us the most damage output because it turns all of our knights into pingers on the opponent. It basically just pushes extra damage in. Ooh, if I draw a removal spell, I'm going to kill that though. Unfortunately, we did not. So I'm going to play a Trebuchet and pass. Well, if our opponent has just a bunch of pump spells in their deck, it's going to be a pretty back and forth match, I think. Okay, 2 Unveiled Tree Folk, so getting in there. Respectable. Ooh, well, how about take 6? Oh, no. Oh, God, I'm such an idiot. All right, backup plan. Jeez, never mind. I was supposed to play Torbran, shoot him for 3, but that wouldn't have actually untapped, so it wouldn't have been 6. Although next turn we get to play Torbran, and attack for 1,000,000. This is definitely going to be a race, though, because they're already bashing us for 4 in the air. I can block with the Trebuchet for a turn. Ginger Buddy. Sure. Don't care about the Ginger Brute very much. Sir Conrad as well, but no Swamp. Alright, let's go Torbran, attack with this as a 5-power creature. Is that right? What's my alternative? Going like this plus this? Nah, I think we go Tor Daddy here. And I will attack with my Ogre Errant. They have to double block it to kill it. Or they take 5. Alright, taking 5. Passing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 damage on board. It's quite a bit. Nah, I was going to say out muscle is something I'm a little bit scared of. Alright, I think we can beat this. Alright, make that unblockable. I'm going to take 8. I actually probably have to block this turn, though, with the Trebuchet, right? Let's do some math real quick. So this is going to deal 3 to him, put him down to 10. Next turn, it deals 3 more to him, puts him down to 7. I play a knight and untap it. It puts him down to 4. I attack. They can only block one of these, and each of them deals at least 4 damage. So I think that's just lethal, right? We don't block, we Trebuchet. We untap, Trebuchet, play a knight, Trebuchet, and then attack for lethal. So even though if this somehow were to go wrong, I mean, they have a Rosethorn Acolyte. Yeah, this doesn't change anything. It's still the same number of blockers. Although, opponent's deck looks kind of sweet. I don't know why they feel they need this when they already have this, but Trebuchet plus Torbran is disgusting. Can't even cast this bacon to a pie. Alright, so let's go attack. They're going to take it minimum 4 here, and then we go Trebuchet, Knight, Trebuchet. And there's not even really a way I can mess this up, I don't think. Oh, no. Oh, that's not true. I have faith in myself to be able to mess something like this up. Yeah, Torbran plus Trebuchet is kind of ridiculous. We would not win without Torbran here, of course. We would just be too far behind, especially with that swamp. I'm thinking maybe we want the golden egg in our deck. We've drawn double black cards in basically every single game and not been able to cast them. So at 4-0, I want to kind of stretch this as far as possible. I think the golden egg needs to get in here, and we need to ditch something that's just either hasn't come up or just isn't that exciting, right? I like most of our stuff. Maybe we can ditch the Forever Young, but we haven't run into that deck yet either. I could see the Reaper going. I could see the Forever Young going. I know as soon as I cut the Forever Young, I'm going to really wish I had it. Okay. Match 5 coming up. All right, welcome back. How good do you think a golden egg is? It can let us cast at least one spell, and it cantrip, so it gives us 2 more shots at just drawing a mountain, which would let us cast our other spells. I don't necessarily even want to cast Shieldbreaker on turn 2. I guess I'm keeping, too. I don't really know why it just kept my hand. I right-clicked, but I guess right-clicking on keep is bad. Look, you cut Forever Young from your deck, your opponent Merfolk Secret Keepers you. Look at this nonsense. 1 mountain down. Did not draw a mountain. Let's go golden egg. Ah, this could have been a Forever Young. This could have just been a Forever Young. Alright, I'm going to aggressively Reeve Soul these Merfolk Secret Keepers so that I can deal with Runaway together, potentially. They have another one. There's a pause. They have another 1-mana white spell. Oh, wow. Swamp. Alright, Reeve Soul this bad boy. What could they have? So tiny, basically. My deck can't beat blue decks. It just can't. Like, we're gonna flounder here. My opponent's gonna mill me out. They're not gonna do anything. Oh, opt, sure. Unless they are just like not a mill deck and they happen to be playing Merfolk Secret Keeper just as a blocker. Ooh, Witchin' Well. So we have an Embereth Shieldbreaker for that. That feels decent, I suppose. And we drew a mountain. Let's go. Question is, I think we just go for the Shieldbreaker here. And then question is, do we use the golden egg now? Opponent's apparently upset that we Witchin' Weld. Oh, I think they hit the wrong button. Okay, fair enough. You've redeemed yourself, Nuno. I think we're going to play Raging Redcap here. We don't know that they have So Tiny in their hand. Plus, we drew a mountain, so we can at least cast some of our other red spells here. But it does mean we don't get to cast Torbran unless we specifically draw Mountain. They also drew a Swamp here, so the second color. Probably just discard Torbran, right? I don't know. It's so good, though. Definitely discarding Swamp, and then I think I can pitch the Dwarf here. Get a little bit greedy. Ogre Errant's a nice draw. Let's go and bash them for 2. First blood. Doesn't feel great. It's turn 5, and we've dealt 2 damage to the opponent. All they need is like a blocker here, and we're not looking so hot. Drown in the Lock. Alright, opponent's deck is actually just actively amazing, sure. Wow, put Drown in the Lock back on top. Man, Forever Young would just be awesome, I think. It was probably too greedy to keep Torbran in our hand. That's a fine draw, though. Let's see the didn't say please, so we can just concede and go to the next match. Don't keep me in suspense, opponent. Counter my spell. We know you have it. We know you have it. We've played Arena before. Sarkara would have been pretty good. Alright, Drown in the Lock. I mean, if they have blocker for Rage and Redcap, I can't win now because they can just hold Drown in the Lock for anything. Sure, they're down to 2 cards, but I'm going to play my weaker card out first. Opponents, clearly, if they play a land and they just have Reaper of Night, that's fine for them, so... Swamp. Swamp, swamp, swamp. Let's go and jam here. I don't think they have a 7th land either. They probably would have played it. Let's see if they go for the Drown in the Lock. So tiny, sure. Alright, I'm going to play out my lands. Just pass here. If they play Reaper, then that gives us a turn to just kind of jam like Elite Headmaster or something. Didn't really want to see that. Let's see if they got lucky and hit the island as well, so they can go island plus Drown in the Lock. They did. So we continue to not be able to win this game. Another mountain. Break some shields. Pass the turn. Hopefully they just play the stupid Reaper. Nope, Tome Raider. So they're just not going to tap out of counter spells here, which means we can't win this game. I think it's mathematically, basically impossible. They are giving me an opportunity to play the Headhunter, though, and trade off Shieldbreaker for something. Or do I just want to play Rage and Redcap? Now, let's go Headhunter here. And attack and trade? Nah. You're up. You are up. Covetous Urge. Alright. I have seen enough of this game. Wow, my opponent's deck is just all fantastic cards. But you can do that on Arena if you want. You can play the easy way and just always draft blue-black, and you'll always have an amazing deck. Can you sense the salt? We've been like having a good time. We're just playing, you know, creature matchups, and then my opponent's like, turn 1 Secret Keeper, so tiny, 1 mana, answer anything you play, and now we're just super salty. Whatever. We'll go ahead and continue into, I guess this would be round number 6 coming up. Alright, welcome back, welcome back. So this is kind of the reverse hand where we've got a bunch of Reeve Souls, but only red mana, although I think having red mana is a little bit better. Plus we've got the Golden Egg again, and we'll see what we draw here. Shieldbreaker is so awkward because you're supposed to just play it on turn 2 if you have nothing else, right? But it's a card you don't really want to play out unless you can avoid it. Swamp was a good draw. I think against black in particular, they tend to have a decent number of artifacts and just food payoffs. I'm going to play the Golden Egg and get a little greedy here. Hopefully their other color's just red, right? Torbran's nice. Play an artifact. Oh, well, we can play a Torbran, which makes me kind of want to play a Shieldbreaker here. How greedy do we want to be? Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. We could have already gotten in 2 damage. We could be threatening 4 next turn. Opponent's playing a Spore Cap Spider. We can Reeve Soul that, but we're going to play Torbran and hope they don't have their own black removal spell. Sure, let's play Torbran. Dies to Reeve Soul, Epic Downfall, Bake into a Pie. Festive Funeral with a bunch of cards in hand. Looks like Reeve Soul, Shabam. Look, sometimes they don't have it, but guess they had it. They've also just curving out like a boss. Alright, there we go. That gives us an excuse to use our Shieldbreaker. That is a risky attack. I could be playing an Embrith, whatchamacallit. Ooh, Sir Conrad's nice too. So I think we're going to go Embrith Shieldbreaker. Just destroy this. It basically actually just makes it so they can't... Basically, actually, makes it so they can't use this. And then I'm going to play this. They know about it, so it's less information. I could play Joust and Dummy, but again, that's information. I don't care too much about this Reaper of Night. I think I'm going to go discard a Reeve Soul. I think I'm discarding one of the removal spells. Probably Redcap Melee, although that can deal with some problematic creatures our opponent could play. I'm going to go down Redcap Melee and maybe Joust and Dummy, although it's really the only creature I have here that I can play next turn. Maybe I go down Reeve Soul, Joust and Dummy, and then keep this in case they play like a Fierce Witch Stalker or something. They also have a land in hand. Okay. Are you attacking? Probably not. Ugh, a swamp would have been nice there. Do I go Lost Legion looking for a swamp? Or do I just go Reeve Soul attack for 2? I like the Reeve Soul here. I wonder if I had played Embrith Shieldbreaker on turn 2, would my opponent have Reeve Souled it? Probably not, right? Sir Conrad does seem like a avenue to victory against a deck like this. Obviously, I wish I had Forever Young right now instead of this Golden Egg, as a way to just kind of get this back and start bashing. Opponent's at 6 mana, 3 cards in hand. They have a 4/5 that we're going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with. Rosethorn Acolyte is fine by me. Tempting Witch, also respectable. I don't care about that. Oh, I guess I do care about it. Trebuchet versus Lost Legion here is the question. Lost Legion helps us find a land for Sir Conrad, but uses the gold. I think we go Trebuchet here. We are going to need to get Conrad down quick for this Reaper of Night if they play it next turn. Looks like we're just passing. So this isn't going great for us. Oh yeah, they don't even need to draw a land. They have the Rosethorn Acolyte. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just cast Reaper of Night here. Unfortunately, Redcap Melee doesn't kill that. Bacon to a Pie does kill it though. Unfortunately, this is the one game where we can't hit a million swamps. So, I think I'm supposed to just go Lost Legion. Develop the board a little bit, get an extra ping out of Trebuchet, take the damage off this, and then hope that the swamp just flows on top. Yeah, I'm going to get a little risky and hope there's a swamp in the next 3 cards. Oh, shoot, I guess I missed the Trebuchet damage here. I'm a little annoyed on Arena that it doesn't pause when that ability goes on the stack, since you have an activated ability to use. It's actually super annoying. So I missed a point of damage there. Could be very relevant against a food deck. Castle Walkthwain could also be relevant. Ah, jeez. Another Reaper is actually really bad for us. Sir Conrad's just so good here. But do I go... I definitely pitch Redcap Melee. I think I have to ditch Bacon to a Pie and hope that Conrad can race this Reaper. That might be a little bit tough here, but I'm going to do it. Take 4. Yeah, they're going to have multiple Reapers. Yeah, activate that. Doesn't matter when I activate it, really. I mean, if they just untap and kill Conrad, the game's basically over. But we're already in a lot of trouble since they can just gain a ton of life. We don't actually have a lot of mana to dump into Conrad anyway. Tempting Witch can deal us 3, 7. We're dead in 2 turns. Oh, shoot. Control mode. Guess I hit it too late. Gee, are you kidding me? Like, why there's a trigger put on the stack? I should be able to activate this in response. Well, I hit control mode too late, I suppose, even though I definitely hit it before Conrad actually hit the board. But look, I understand. I missed it. I'm just going to have to pass here. And opponent is going to ding us with the food, it looks like. They have the mana with the Rosethorn Acolyte, so very nice. I don't think we're winning this game. I don't think Conrad's going to be enough. Well, although they get a little greedy and go for that Tuinville Treefolk, maybe. If they just have another removal spell... Oh, they are getting greedy. Interesting. I think it'd be better just to play another Reaper. But what do I know? Alright, take 6. No box. Shoot you for 1. Oh, another Tempting Witch is kind of gross. Guess it's actually not even that bad, really. Well, that's more damage. So if I attack with Conrad, they can go block, block, block. If I attack with these, they go block, block. I do think I attack with these and let Conrad trade them off, though. I mean, they can just block this. That's dumb. I should just attack with the Shield Breaker. Oh, they are going to go ahead and just take the extra 2 damage. Fine. I wish I had a Siren Barrage. It'd be awesome. So Conrad triggers twice. Go and do this now. Yeah, my opponent should have 2 less life here. Still don't think I'm winning. I have to chump with Trebuchet this turn. And then somehow we'll win with Conrad. Even with that 2 extra damage. Just them killing the bacon to a pie really sucked. We need to hit another swamp on turn this game, but we did not. Reaper gets in there. Resolve the ability. Block it. Opponent's going to go down to 11 here. And I assume they're just going to keep the food up to guarantee they don't die. Conrad trigger. Put you down to 11. Yeah, cast another Reaper. And they can still activate the food. I'm going to just activate Conrad here. Flip 2 creatures, okay. Put you down to 9, but they're at a virtual 12. There's no way we can deal 12. Can only activate this twice. Might as well. Just get... Might as well. It didn't matter that we missed the Trebuchet damage. Wow. Creature, creature. And then creature, creature. Put him down to 5. We'll just concede the game. Alright. Give you the good game. That second Reaper was really backbreaking. We could have beat the first Reaper, but they made us discard the bacon to a pie. I don't think we're winning if we discard the Sir Conrad instead, because we're not pressuring them there, and then they just had another Reaper anyway. So next loss is going to kick us out here, despite a little... I wouldn't even say I misplayed that game. I just think there's something in the design that, like, Trebuchet triggers to untap, and the game knows you can activate Trebuchet at any time, so there should be a pause, like an automatic pause. You shouldn't have to go into full control mode to untap the Trebuchet there. But it just skips over it and assumes you don't want to activate it, which I think is really weird, because a lot of times whenever you have an activated ability on board, it stops at any possible moment, but it doesn't for the Trebuchet, so bizarre. Anyway, that puts us at 4-2. Another loss kicks us out, but we can still climb a little bit more here. Ideally, we would like to get up to 6 wins, so let's play a little bit tighter, draw a little bit better, and make it to the finals here. So round number 7 coming up. Welcome one, welcome all. We're against the Nerdy Steve this time. We've got a pretty good hand. It's a swamp short of being just really good, but I think Merchant of the Veil on turn 3 is a fine way to start with some potential backup here. We've got a decent number of 2-drops we can draw too. Again, we haven't had too many super aggressive draws outside of the first couple games, despite being on the play here, but we do have 2 of our better cards in our hand, so there's something to be said for that. We're going to need a purple fox here, please. Alright, and we will see if the Nerdy Steve decides to join us or not. Leading off with a mountain here. I could see actually going mountain and then discarding Bargain here to just try to draw into a 2-drop or some relevant action or a swamp. Like, Bargain's pretty situational. If they play an island or something, I'm just going to discard Bargain. Forest. That makes me kind of want to keep Bargain. Although, again, it's only good on offense. And that was a decent draw. So now we have access to Bacon to a Pie on turn 4. Get a big creature out of the way or something like that. We've got a pretty decent curve of Merchant into, you know, kill a relevant creature into Conrad. The 7th Dwarf. Yeah, we will pass here. Play Merchant of the Veil. We could also play Lost Legion. Merchant of the Veil has some late game utility, and this gives us immediate action. Reeve Soul I like to keep on top. I don't know that I actually want to draw Elite Headhunter more than I want to draw just a 5th land, so I think I'm going to put the Headhunter on the bottom. And if they attack here, I could block. If they have a Bargain, that's pretty bad, but I can make that block next turn. Looks like just Rimrock Knight, so I'm probably better off blocking. But they could still have just like this or Garenbrig Paladin or something. Rimrock Knight's fine, though. I don't care about that. Let's go in Reeve Soul. Rimrock Knight, I suppose. I could hold up Bacon to a Pie here and just use my mana a little more effectively later on. Yeah, we'll do that. If they attack with just Rimrock Knight, I'll block. If they attack with 7 Dwarf... Oh, I'm definitely blocking then. Still can't rule out Bargain, though. Oh, smart opponent is smart. Okay. Block there. And then we'll Bake into a Pie end of turn. Doesn't matter which dwarf we hit. Opponent has no interaction. Untap. Do we want to expose Sir Conrad right now? I think I'm going to go for the Reeve Soul and then play Merchant of the Veil. There's a good chance my opponent has... Well, I mean, we don't have really enough to say what our opponent has and doesn't have here. I'm going to go ahead and attack because I'm not going to block, and if they block, I can barge in. Oh, no, that's such a bad block. Okay, good. They didn't go for it. I'm going to play... if they have Outmuscle, though... If they have Outmuscle... They didn't have another green source last turn, so they would need specifically... Oh, well, I'm going to go for it. If they have the Barrage, though, they just kill Sir Conrad. Hull is a Beanstalk. Oh, no, it's a Giant in addition to its other types. Okay, so we're racing. We're going to deal 7 to you. That's actually pretty good. We can go here and here. Although if they pump this, we die. Might as well attack with both. I think we go red cap and then hold up the food in case they have like a Garenbrig of their own or something like that to give this +2/+2. They also have Outmuscle mana available now, which would change things in their favor quite a bit because it would get Sir Conrad off the board. If they have a Slay and Fire, they can kill us anyway, so I'm going to let the damage go through. Alright, what do you follow up with, opponent? 2 Unveil Treefolk. Alright, let's see if we can kill the opponent here. Golden Egg. We can afford to play that first, actually. Oh, let's do some math. So, if I attack with everything, they block here. They take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They take 9. I could actually barge in this thing. It would still die, though, right? And it doesn't gain trample. So I guess I can go attack, attack. No, I can really only attack with this thing. And what's my plan here? 6/5 was decent. I think we can afford to go Golden Egg first. Oh, this is kind of tough, actually. Yeah, let's go Golden Egg into a swamp, sure. How scared are we of your 2 cards, I guess is the question. Attack with everything. They block here. They take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got a little bit more thread time. So that block doesn't make sense. Block here. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we die on the swing back. I think I have to leave Sir Conrad untapped here. And then just play 7 dwarves and hold up the Golden Egg. Oh, that's not... Oh, actually, that is enough to survive, though. Alright, I'm going to hope they just don't have a pump spell in their hand. See how they attack first. Because if they attack with both, it might give me an avenue to block with Sir Conrad. Looks like they have the out. Oh, another tall as a beanstalk. Okay. Huh. Alright, what's the attack look like then? Interesting. Alright, so can we kill them next turn? Because we go block here for sure. And then we have to do something here. If they have Garenbrig Paladin, or I guess if they have Insatiable Appetite, they can kill me through this. Any of the 2 damage pump spells can kill me, but they could have done that last turn. So let's say I block here. They take 1, go down to 10. I have 6, 7, 8 damage on board. So what are the chances we just say no blocks and then they have nothing? Then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on board, but they're going to take... Oh, they won't take 1, though. I don't think I can actually kill them unless I top deck like another 7 Dwarf or another pump spell. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. I'm going to play to the best of my ability here. I guess if I do this, then I have 6, 7, 8 damage. They take 1, go to 10. And then I can activate Sir Conrad, which might deal 2. That might be my best bet. Let's activate here. Nope, that was a brick. Alright, they go to 10, and can we draw like a Rimrock Knight for the game? No, they have to have another blocker anyway. Ugh, that's bad. Yeah, that's game, isn't it? Bargin's not going to be enough to kill him, and I can't block this Paladin. Even after my opponent went all in with double tall as a beanstalk, I don't have a way to win this next turn, because I can't pump either of these to make him be able to block the Paladin, so it doesn't really matter what else I do here. The 3 life's not enough, so that's going to do it. We started off 4-0 and then lost 3 games in a row. Close, close. Another pump spell might have done it. Like, if we drawn Rimrock Knight, that's 5, 6, 12... Yeah, we would have won this turn with a Rimrock Knight. Blow your house down. Wouldn't have quite done it. We didn't see a lot of the cards in our deck. We didn't see the Oathsworn Paladin. I think we cut the blow your house down or whatever anyway. But it looks like the Knight deck got as far as 4 and 3. I'm fine with that, mostly because I didn't have to play the tilting match against the mill deck too much. I mean, the blue control deck just beat us without really milling us. And aggro decks literally can't beat the blue decks on Arena if they draw anything like a reasonable hand, because the blue cards are better than all the other cards on Arena. But we're not going to get into that complaint here. So, Red Black Knights goes 4 and 3. Reasonable, not great. Wasn't like a super all-in Knight deck, right? We had a bunch of Knights, but our real Knight payoff was... the single trebuchet, right? We would have loved a Steel Claw Lance for this deck or something along those lines, but we didn't see it. We didn't see any Smitten Swordmasters. We didn't wield the Barrow Witches. So not really a full-on Knight deck. So not a success for by force as the mill deck was, but still a fine deck nonetheless. And 4 and 3 is respectable, even though it doesn't make our gems back. So that's going to go ahead and do it for by force. Thanks for watching, as always. My name's Timothy with Mana Rocks. If you have any suggestions in the comments below for future By Force episodes or any content you want to see, feel free to comment below and let me know how what you think